Welcome
Okay.
everybody to Ceph Tech Talk. Today we're joined by Martin Brisman on specifically, this is going to be a long one, how to use Lua Scripting together with NATS Lua client to add NATS to the list of bucket notifications endpoint, or simply going NATS. So,
Yeah.
will you please take it away?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I'm gonna describing how we can integrate with Lua and NATS together with Ceph. I work on this project this summer with Yuval Lifshitz during Google Summer of Code 2021, and I'm gonna begin by showing a small background, explaining. So bucket notification, a small explanation. Bucket notification are a mechanism to send notification when certain events, like putting an object in the bucket, removing it, copying it, happening on the bucket, as I said, to external systems. Bucket notification has become widespread in many applications, artificial intelligence, machine learning, edge computing, and even more simple use cases like automated data pipeline with Knative and trigger serverless function and message queue API for serverless computing. I'm going to be going into more detail on one of the examples, how we can, here we can see a data pipeline with Ceph notification and Knative serving. In this pipeline, what we're trying to achieve is basically whenever we upload an X-ray photo of a patient in a clinic, what we want to do is assert the risk for a disease and send it back to the clinic after we asserted if it's dangerous or not. And if it is, what we want to do is anonymize it and send it for researchers using a different bucket. So here you can see we push the image to a bucket called X-ray data in. Ceph is sending a bucket notification with a storage topic. A Knative eventic component is defined as a consumer to the storage topic, and it will fetch the message and pass it to the Knative serving service. And the service will launch an image processing container and pass its context to the message. There it will assess the risk and print it on an image, send it back to the clinic, to the bucket called X-ray data in process. And if it did detect a risk, it will send it anonymized to a research bucket. So this is the use cases of bucket notification. Now I'm going to be talking about NATS. NATS is quite young, high-performance cloud-native message system, which is designed for Kubernetes. And until today, Ceph could only support sending notification to Kafka and AMQP and to an HTTP endpoint. And what we want to do is integrate with NATS, but we still don't want to enter it to our source code. So we can do it by using a feature we have in Ceph called Lua Scripting. Lua Scripting basically allows us to upload a Lua script to Ceph, and for whenever there is a request to our bucket, the Lua script will be executed. I'm going to be showing a quick demo. Maybe it will be a little clearer. So here I have my terminal. What I'm going to be doing first is opening the script. It can be found in the example in the Ceph repository. This is the script. We can see the script. I will go into more detail in that later. Now, what I want to do is upload the script to RGW, to Ceph. So I'm going to be using the RGW admin command with script put, give it file location, and the context. The content is post request. So it's gonna execute the script for every request. Now we can use the get command to actually see that the script is uploaded, and this is the script we wanna execute each time we receive a request, a new request. But now, first, before executing, we can see we need to install some packages. The Lua script is using two packages called LunaJSON and NATS to integrate with NATS. So to install those packages, what I'm going to be doing first is, again, using the rgwadmin command with script package add and the package name and the flag to allow compilation. I'm going to be adding that. I'm going to be adding another package called NATS, as you've seen there, and another package we need called Lua CJSON. Now we can use list command to actually see that our packages are indeed there and we will install them. So the script could use them. For doing that, we will need to restart the RGW. I won't be doing that because those packages are already installed, but we need to stop it and start it again. Now, after doing that, I will be subscribing to the NATS server I have locally running with the topic bucket notification. So it will be listening to this topic, and for each request, for each bucket notification with this topic, it will show us. So now this is the first request we're going to make to our bucket with the s3cmd command. The host is local. I'm going to use the put and give it the fish JPEG image to my bucket. And now we can see after it's uploaded, we got the JSON with all the details. And we can use this notification to any service we want to use. Now it's with NATS. You can see it running. I will show here again the script. As you can see, it has access to all the request fields, meaning it can integrate with any other thing beside NATS. It doesn't have to be NATS. It could be any other message broker. For this specific cause, we can set the host and the port to our NATS server here. It's set by default right now because it's local, but we can change it in the script, and we upload it. So this was the quick demo to this integration to listen into a NATS server. What as we saw, it's opening a door to numerous integration. There are RPRs right now to integrate with Elasticsearch and Prometheus, and any other integration can be possible using this without touching the source code. And still, there is more to come, meaning we are still working now on another context. The context I showed you in the demonstration was a post request. We're also working on a background, which will be more useful to monitoring and saving cache between requests and use it for later causes. And if you have any more questions, you can see everything in the Ceph documentation in the Lua Scripting and in my blog in more detailed way, this feature, and by mail. And basically, that's it. That was it.
So, do we have any questions from the audience?
Everything was clear.
I would also like to mention too that you were part of our Google Summer of Code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite new at this, so this is the first open source project I've been working on with Yuval, which is here. So I use this opportunity to thank him for working with me. He actually guided the way for me and showed me how to work. So it was a really nice experience for me.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Ceph community.
Thank you very much.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are the sort of, as you say, we can do amazing new things with Lua Scripting as we add Lua Scripting hooks to more parts of the code. What are sort of the strengths and weaknesses of the Lua approach in this project, and what lessons did you learn about what in addition to maybe you could talk more about background as one of them. What are some of the lessons or ideas you learned while working on this?
One of the lessons I learned is, as I said while talking, that we don't quite need to change our source code for each new feature or new system which is coming to our world. With the Lua scripting, as I said, we have access to the relevant fields we need, and we can export them using the Lua to any other integration. And Lua is quite easy and quite a straightforward language, and anybody can use and upload the script and integrate. It's pretty easy. The script also, as you've seen there, it's self-explanatory. It publishes the JSON message to the NATS server without Ceph knowing. And from our point of view, now Ceph can integrate with Lua, with NATS, without touching the source code. So there are many opportunities, as you said, to this.
I do want to mention a couple of drawbacks with this approach that we ran into. So, for example, the fact that we cannot cache stuff between runs. So Lua is really a lightweight virtual machine, and we kind of create a separate virtual machine for each request. This is extremely useful for separation and for concurrency. But for example, in our case, we're reopening the connection with the NAT server for each and every execution because we cannot really cache the connection and keep it open between executions of the Lua script. So this is a bit inefficient. There are other things that might require us to cache stuff. I think that Matan mentioned it a little bit about the fact that we want to have a background script, and even more important, a background data structure that can hold, for example, counters. So if you want to count all kind of things that are happening in the system, Lua is an extremely efficient way to do that, because instead of having hard-coded counter in your C++ code base and modifying them or configuring them in all kind of ways, you can actually write whatever kind of logic, counting logic you want in your script, but you need to persist it. You can't let it go away between runs, because this is the whole idea about counters. And you do need a background process where you can publish them to Prometheus or some external system that can present them nicely in graphs and so on. So there's still quite a bit of work left there. But I mean, we just laying the basic mechanics for that, and what should really guide us as for what kind of things we need to add as infrastructure to this feature is the actual scripts that you guys as users are going to write. So I really encourage you to try it out and to try to think and use it for useful things that you want to do, whether it is around debugging or integrations with misbehaving clients or whatever other thing, or integration with external systems, as Matan showed. And then once we gather your inputs in that, we'll be able to evolve this feature in the correct direction with the right feature set.
Do we got any other questions from the audience? Okay. Well, it sounds like you covered this topic quite well. All right, then. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for another Tech Talk. And thank you again for your work for Google Summer of Code and presenting to all of us the work as well. So really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for letting me show it.
Yeah. We hope to see you back in the Ceph community too.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Matan. Nice project.
Thank you.